Welcome, dear listener, to a deep dive into some, well, truly profound and intoxicating ideas. We're talking about divine love, yearning, ecstatic surrender.
Absolutely. And our journey today is really inspired by the rich tradition of Sufism.
Right, and especially the kind of love poetry we associate with figures like Rumi. Now, our sources don't give us his direct verses, sadly.
No, they don't. But they absolutely open a window, into that universal human quest for union, that passion.
The very thing Rumi embodies so beautifully, that kind of burning passion for the beloved.
Exactly. So today, we're not just looking at a historical figure. We're really trying to get at the essence of spiritual passion itself.
Okay.
Exploring how this intense longing for God, often framed as his burning love between a lover and the beloved,
Yeah.
how it really transcends religious boundaries.
And speaks to something deeply human, right? This inherent yearning we seem to have for ultimate connection, for merging.
A complete merging with the divine, yes.
Yeah. So our mission here is to really extract the most potent insights from, well, quite a diverse stack of sources we've got. Ancient scriptures, mystical texts, modern spiritual guides, to truly understand the core principles behind this universal desire for union and this path of ecstatic surrender.
Giving you, the listener, a shortcut to being well-informed on a topic that, frankly, resonates so deeply.
Full of surprising facts, illuminating perspectives. Okay, let's unpack this. So when we talk about the Sufi's passion, we're stepping into a distinctly mystical landscape.
Right?
And the name Rumi, for many, it just immediately springs to mind. It's almost synonymous with that fervent spiritual longing, those vivid pictures of the beloved.
It really is. He's such a towering figure.
But beyond Rumi, beyond individual figures, what truly defines the Sufi approach to divine love, and how does it connect to this universal quest we're talking about?
Well, to really grasp the heart of Sufism and its, let's say, unique connection to passionate love, we need to look at some core concepts. And figures like Al-Ghazali are key here. Our sources point him out as a profound philosopher of Sufism.
Well, okay, Al-Ghazali.
And central to his teaching, and really foundational to a lot of Sufi thought, is this concept of fana,
Tanda. Okay.
which, can be translated as effacement. And this isn't just some minor point. It's really the crucible, the transformative core of the mystical journey in Sufism.
Effacement. That's a powerful word. It evokes a sense of, well, disappearance. What precisely does fana mean in this context? Why is it so central to this passionate pursuit?
Right. Fana is a process of radical self-annihilation, or effacement from self, is the source of put it.
Self-annihilation.
Okay.
But it's crucial to understand this isn't about physical death, not at all. It's about the systematic dissolution of the ego
The ego.
and all its countless attachments. I mean, imagine just for a second, meticulously stripping away everything you think you are.
Your identity based on social roles, your personal desires, your deep-seated fears, your personality quirks, even your very perception of yourself as a separate being.
Wow.
The Sufi path, through fana, essentially aims to peel back all these layers until nothing of that constructed individual self remains to sort of obscure the divine,
Okay, so it's a clearing away.
a profound clearing away. And our sources highlight something even deeper. The highest state is to be effaced from effacement.
Effaced from effacement. What does that mean?
It's subtle, isn't it? It means reaching a point where you're so completely absorbed, so utterly dissolved in the divine, that even the thought or the awareness of having been effaced just vanishes.
So you don't even remember the process of losing yourself.
Exactly. It's a complete non-dualistic surrender. The individual consciousness stops perceiving itself as separate from the beloved. The lover and beloved become one reality.
Not just forgetting yourself, but dissolving into something bigger.
Precisely. Dissolving into a greater truth, a state beyond even the concept of selfhood or the process that got you there. It's the ultimate realization of oneness.
Okay, here's where it gets really interesting and maybe, like you said, a bit challenging for, our modern way of thinking.
Yeah.
This idea of effacement, losing oneself completely. It sounds both terrifying and maybe utterly liberating at the same time.
It does.
And for you, the listener, you might be asking, what is left? When the self is gone, is it just a void? An emptiness?
Yeah.
Or something richer? It feels so counter to how we usually think about identity today.
It really does push against our emphasis on individuality. But the mystics would say it's certainly not a void. It's understood as a state of profound fullness, an exquisite union of love, an ultimate liberation from the ego's cage.
Liberation, okay.
But, and this is important, the path there often involves a really rigorous internal stripping away.
Yeah.
It can be deeply challenging, even agonizing.
Agony.
And we see powerful parallels to this in other mystical traditions, which suggests it's maybe a universal kind of experience. Think about the dark night of the spirit.
Ah, St. John of the Cross.
Exactly, the Christian mystic. He talks about a period of purgation and annihilation of the natural self. It leaves the soul in a darkness of understanding and a constraint of will.
Darkness of understanding.
He doesn't mince words. He calls it a profound and horrible and most painful experience, something felt in the deepest substance of the spirit.
Wow. So this is a deep internal desolation.
Yes, it empties the soul of its usual comforts, its intellectual props, its emotional attachments. The inner landscape feels barren. You feel lost, maybe even abandoned.
But there's a purpose to it.
Paradoxically, yes. This very desolation serves a higher purpose.
So this isn't some, gentle, easy path we're talking about. It sounds like a profound, sometimes agonizing process of shedding, a spiritual crucible.
That's a good word for it, crucible,
Mm.
where everything that isn't truly essential, everything not aligned with the divine, gets burned away.
Preparing the way for something else.
Precisely. The purpose of this darkness, this aridity, is purification. It's a necessary stripping away of the layers separating us from the beloved.
Okay.
St. John of the Cross explains it's needed to expel and annihilate the habit which the soul has long since formed in its manner of understanding.
Habits, like ingrained ways of seeing things.
Exactly. Not just daily routines, but those deep patterns of perception, belief, emotional reactions that limit our ability to experience divine reality directly.
Right.
And he says, the greater the darkness, the more the soul is voided of its natural operations.
Yeah.
Its reliance on ordinary senses, intellect, emotions, the greater is its security.
Greater security through darkness. That sounds paradoxical.
It is paradoxical,
Mm.
but it leads, he says, to a profound gain in virtues and a more authentic relationship with God, because you're relying only on God, not your own faculties.
Hmm.
And even in this state, this seeming desolation, the will is still touched by grief and afflictions and yearnings for the love of God.
So the longing is still there, even in the darkness.
Oh, intensely. The soul might feel utterly alone, thinking God neither hears it nor pays heed to it. A deep sense of unrequited love.
That sounds incredibly painful.
It is. Yet St. John suggests this very feeling of abandonment is a testament to the purity and intensity of the love driving the mystic. It actually indicates it's a passive work by God in the soul.
God working through the darkness.
A divine intervention, yes. Purifying and preparing the soul for a deeper, more intimate union. A state beyond separation. It's like the beloved drawing the lover deeper, even through the feeling of absence.
So what does this all mean for us, really? This isn't just a casual spiritual stroll. It's profound, sometimes agonizing, a shedding that prepares you for something extraordinary, for divine oneness.
Yes, it's the ultimate act of surrender for love. A complete, total giving over of oneself to the divine beloved.
Much like the kind of burning, all-consuming passion we hear about in Rumi's poetry.
Exactly. A passion that doesn't just want to touch the beloved, but to become the beloved.
Okay, so while Sufism gives us this powerful, challenging concept of fana, this deep longing for union, this same echo seems to appear across many wisdom traditions.
It really does. It feels like a testament to a universal human experience, something beyond specific cultures or religions.
So let's explore that. Let's see how this passionate love, this ecstatic surrender shows up in other spiritual landscapes that appear in our sources. Explore this symphony of union, if you will.
Absolutely. The language changes, the metaphors shift, the cultural contexts are different, but that underlying yearning, that transformative process is remarkably consistent.
So where should we look first? Christian mysticism.
Yes, that's a great place to start. In Christian mysticism, love isn't just, an emotion or a virtue among others. It's often seen as the very core of being, the driving force for radical spiritual growth and ultimately union with God.
And a prime example, surely, is St. Teresa of Avila's vision of the interior castle. That gives such a vivid roadmap for the soul's journey inward.
She really does provide an amazing map. St. Teresa describes the soul as incredibly spacious, ample, and lofty, like a magnificent castle full of many mansions or chambers.
Many mansions within the soul.
Yes. And at its very center, in the deepest chamber, resides the King, God himself.
Okay.
So the spiritual journey is about moving through these mansions. It's a progression through different states of prayer, purification, becoming more intimate with God.
Progressing deeper into the castle.
Exactly. And sometimes, she notes, the soul finds itself soaring aloft in meditation among the greatness and the majesty of its God. And interestingly, contemplating God's grandeur helps you realize your own baseness better than thinking of its own nature.
So seeing God's greatness makes you humble, not focusing on your own flaws.
Precisely. It's humility born from awe, not self-criticism. And as the soul progresses, especially into the seventh mansions, the deepest part.
The center of the castle.
Right. The soul experiences extraordinary intimacy. God bestows great favors, and His Majesty who now lives in them, in a really unique, abiding way.
So it's a state of permanent union.
It's described as a very deep, transformative union. The desires of souls in this state aren't for earthly comforts or personal gain or even for spiritual highs anymore.
What are they for then?
Solely and completely for the Lord Himself. There's just this tender love pervading everything and a constant natural desire to give praise. And Teresa notes something fascinating. The impulse for God at this stage proceeds from the interior of the soul and awakens the faculties. It's distinct from just thinking about God or remembering things.
So it's deeper than intellect, a soul-level connection.
Yeah, so she describes it. A direct communication, transcending ordinary mental activity. Spontaneous, profound union.
That's a powerful, deeply intimate picture of an inner journey, a complete reorientation. And what about St. Augustine? He also talks a lot about love, particularly charity or caritas.
Yes, Augustine's understanding of charity, caritas, is another profound lens on divine love. He defines it by three key qualities, all interconnected: disinterestedness, tranquility, and humility.
Disinterestedness, meaning
No greed for personal gain, no fear of loss or punishment tied to this love. It's pure, unselfish, loving for love's sake, not for what you get out of it.
okay, and tranquility.
That signifies an inner stillness, an absence of craving or aversion. It reflects a steady will to conform to the divine Tao or Logos on every level of existence.
Alignment with the divine order.
Exactly, an inner calm from that alignment, and then humility, which means no ego glorification. Recognizing your own limits, but also, crucially, seeing others' weaknesses alongside their boundless capacity to transcend them.
Seeing the potential in everyone.
Yes, and this profound charity, rooted in God, essentially allows you to follow His famous phrase, love and do what you like.
Because if love is the guide, the actions will be right.
Precisely. If true love is the guiding principle, actions flowing from it will inherently be aligned with the divine will.
That's a high bar for love.
It is. Yeah. And St. John of the Cross, who we talked about with the Dark Knight, he takes this even further. He redefines the cardinal virtues through the lens of this divine love. He says, listen to this. Temperance is love surrendering itself wholly to Him who is its object. Courage is love bearing all things gladly for the sake of Him who is its object. Justice is love serving only Him who is its object, and therefore rightly ruling. Prudence is love making wise distinctions between what hinders and what helps itself.
Wow, so every virtue becomes an expression of love for God.
Exactly. It's an all-encompassing love that doesn't just influence actions, but completely reshapes your inner motivations, your perceptions, your entire character. Every virtue is just love in action.
So pulling this thread together, we're seeing love not just as, a feeling or a rule book. It's a driving, transformative force, a total reshaping of your being towards the divine.
That's right.
It's a love that really demands a kind of sacrificial surrender, a complete giving over, like a lover totally consumed by their beloved.
Exactly. And these descriptions, they aren't just intellectual exercises or philosophical points. They're accounts of deeply experiential journeys, real transformation. That continual torment or dark night St. John talks about, it's the spiritual fire doing its work. Burning away the false attachments, the illusions, the ego.
Clearing the space.
Making space for an unadulterated, abiding love and peace, where the beloved can truly live within the heart. It's active purification, driven by that intense, burning longing we started with.
Okay, let's shift our focus now. Let's turn eastward. While the terms in cultural clothing might change, this profound theme of passionate yearning for union seems just as powerful there.
Absolutely. Our sources show how this manifests in what we might see as the more serene paths of the East, often emphasizing wisdom, peace, and devotion as the way to union.
And Siddhartha's journey, the Buddha's path, is a key example here, right?
A central one.
Yeah.
His observation of Gautama, the Buddha, before his own enlightenment, is really revealing. He sees this perfection of his calm, a quietness of his appearance, There's no searching, no desire, no imitation, no effort to be seen, only light and peace. It's not just looking calm, it's embodying this profound inner union and enlightenment. All striving has just ceased.
A state beyond effort.
Yes. And Siddhartha's own transformation, interestingly, mirrors that Sufi fana or the dark night in a powerful way. It required a kind of death.
A death.
He had to, as the source says, lose himself to lust and power, to woman and money, until the priest and samana in him was dead.
He had to let go of his old identities, even the spiritual ones.
Completely. It was an agonizing process, a deliberate shedding of conventional identities, worldly attachments, even his spiritual practices as he knew them. This radical self-annihilation, this death of the old self.
It led to the birth of the new.
Exactly. Led to a new Siddhartha, full of pure, unconditioned joy and an awakening to reality. Dying to the past allowed the awakened being to emerge.
That really resonates with losing oneself for a greater truth. A transformation through letting go. And isn't there a beautiful metaphor of a river in Siddhartha's story?
There is, and it's very poetic. The river becomes this powerful symbol of interconnectedness, of all life flowing towards a unified goal.
How does that work?
Well, in the river, images of loved ones, of all life and experience, they merge and flow together. It represents longing, suffering initially, but then it changes to joy, to myriad voices all blending.
Illustrating interconnectedness.
A profound sense of it, yes, where individual identities dissolve into the larger current, moving towards that unifying ocean. Even in a personal moment, near death, Kamala finds peace just looking into Siddhartha's eyes.
Recognizing the perfected one.
Yes, recognizing that shared essence, seeing beyond the individual to the unity underneath.
And the Dhammapada, the Buddhist scripture, also describes this state of peace.
It does. It talks about gentle sages who are constantly restrained in body. They go to the unshakable abode, whither having gone, they do not grieve.
The unshakable abode, not a place but a state.
An internal state of ultimate liberation, free from suffering. And it describes a bhikkhu, a monk, with body pacified, speech pacified, full of peace, well composed, who has thrown out the world's material things. This person is called the one at peace.
And this peace brings joy.
Abundant joy, the text says. And it leads to the blissful alleviation of the sakkaras.
Sakkaras, remind us what those are.
They're the conditioned patterns, ingrained habits of thought, emotion, action that keep us trapped in cycles of suffering, of reactivity.
Okay.
So their alleviation means freedom from these habits, liberation into pure presence, enduring joy.
And then we have the Bhagavad Gita, another cornerstone, offering a different flavor, focusing intensely on devotion to a supreme beloved.
Yes, a very personal, intense connection. In the Gita, Gita is presented as the supreme personality of Godhead, embodied as eternal, full of knowledge and bliss.
The ultimate object of devotion.
Right. And the core instruction, the main message, is to reestablish that eternal relationship between the worshiper and the worshipable. By understanding that all living beings are part and parcel of the Supreme, we're intrinsically connected. We emanate from this divine source. Our purpose is to wake up to that connection.
Restore the relationship.
Exactly. And the path recommended is Bhakti Yoga, devotional service. It's described as very simple and pure and easy to perform.
Simple. How so?
Well, its simplicity comes from focusing on love and devotion, which are seen as natural inclinations of the heart. And the Lord, keen, is said to be easy to attain for those unflinchingly devoted to him.
Unflinching devotion.
Meaning unwavering, unmixed devotion. And the ultimate instruction is incredibly direct.
What is it?
Engage your mind always in thinking of me. Become my devotee, offer obeisances to me, and worship me. Being completely absorbed in me, surely you will come to me.
Complete absorption. That sounds like Fana again, in a way.
It has echoes, definitely. It emphasizes intense, consuming love and devotion, leading to absorption in the beloved, letting the beloved permeate every thought, every action. And the text even asserts there's no difference between Kana's mind and Kena, implying this unified absolute reality where devotee and divine can ultimately merge through love.
The lover becoming the beloved again.
That's the goal. Transcending separation through intense, focused love.
So pulling these Eastern threads together, whether it's the Buddha's calm, Siddhartha's river, the monk's peace, or the total absorption in Keat, this call to transcend the ordinary self, to merge with something larger, the beloved, it's remarkably consistent.
It really is. It points to that common thread in humanity's spiritual search. The language differs, the practices vary, but that underlying experience of peace, joy, oneness, It seems universal.
It takes us beyond just religious doctrines.
Yes, these are descriptions of peak human consciousness, often rooted in this intense spiritual love, this longing for the ultimate. It suggests a shared spiritual heritage, a collective human drive towards union.
And this journey toward union, it's not just in traditional religions, is it? We also find powerful philosophical and spiritual insights pointing towards oneness, maybe from a slightly different angle.
That's right, offering a complementary lens, perhaps focusing more on recognition of an inherent truth rather than something purely external to strive for.
Like A Course in Miracles, that offers a kind of psychological spiritual framework.
It does, and a profound one. It talks about healing proceeding from integration, and contrasts that sharply with fear, which it says induces separation.
Fear separates, integration heals.
Exactly. And it suggests your whole meaning and your only meaning comes from his gods and is like his. Our true identity, ourself, is inseparable from the divine.
Inherently one.
Yes, you cannot separate yourself from your creator because the creator created you by sharing his being with you. Oneness is fundamental.
So where does healing come in?
The Holy Spirit, in this framework, helps you reinterpret your own misperceptions, helps us see that fears never were ultimately real. It frees us from the past, from illusions of separation and guilt.
In peace.
Peace isn't something you achieve externally. It's the natural state where you are truly at home. A return to that inherent, integrated oneness. It's about remembering who you already are, beneath the fear.
Remembering. I like that. And building on that, Conversations with God presents an even more, well, radical view of our relationship with the divine, suggesting we're co-creators.
It certainly does. It posits that humanity's fundamental problem, the root of suffering, is a lack of love, stemming from perceiving ourselves as separate.
The illusion of separation again.
Yes, and the radical solution offered is stop separating yourself. See all humankind as your family. See all life as connected.
And the really radical idea
That you are creating God, not bringing God into being, but that God expresses himself in, as, and through you. And ultimately, you and I are one.
Wow, that's a bold claim for our inherent divinity.
It is. And it emphasizes that your perspective creates your thoughts, and your thoughts create everything. Our internal viewpoint literally shapes reality.
So changing perspective changes everything.
By consciously changing perspective, you control your thoughts. And this is described as the highest form of prayer, actively shaping reality. It leads to seeing only perfection, even in dark moments, because nothing escapes perfection in God's world from that higher view.
And giving.
The power of giving is huge here. What you give to another, you give to yourself. Life is forgiving, not forgetting. And in this one-way giving, this selfless offering, salvation is found.
So it's an active, co-creative relationship.
Yes, where our every act can become an expression of this ultimate love and unity.
This is fascinating. It's a shift from just external devotion towards recognizing this unity within, like remembering who we truly are. It suggests the beloved isn't just out there, but is also profoundly us.
Indeed. These texts describe a fundamental shift in consciousness, moving from that fragmented ego-based view to an integrated, unified perception.
Changing how you see, not just what you see.
Exactly. A radical change in perspective that reveals the inherent perfection and interconnectedness that was always present. And Plotinus, the ancient Neoplatonic philosopher, taps into this too.
How so?
He speaks of the primacy of the one, suggesting the soul, when it follows its best part, its higher intellect, stays connected to the divine. Intellect, at its best, looks to what is better than and prior to itself, always seeking its source.
The source, the one.
For Plotinus, the one is primary, the ultimate transcendent source. Everything else, intellect, forms, being, emanates from this ineffable one. It points to that singular, unified ground of all being.
And the Tao Te Ching, similar idea.
Very similar echoes in the East. It speaks of the great Tao flowing everywhere, unseen yet all-pervasive, the root of all action, the source of all creation.
Nourishing everything without claiming ownership.
Exactly, operating without ego. And the nameless simplicity of the Tao can free the heart of desire and reveals its inner silence.
Inner silence leads to peace.
Yes, this deep quietude leads to peace and lets you find the anchor of the universe within himself. It's all pointing back to that same profound truth. Reality is unified, and our deepest passion is to realize this unity, to become one with the beloved, recognizing it within and without.
Okay, so if this ecstatic union, this deep connection to the beloved is the ultimate goal, and it's about remembering our oneness, how do we actually get there? It sounds like more than philosophy. It's a journey of transformation. It requires work.
Oh, definitely. It's a path that requires conscious effort, deep engagement, often challenging work.
So what practical steps, what approaches do these diverse sources suggest for cultivating this Sufi's passion in our lives?
Well, the path is clearly one of rigorous self-examination, intentional letting go, and really conscious living.
Mm.
It's about actively dismantling those inner barriers we've built.
The ego, fear,
All
attachments.
of it. Those things that keep us feeling separate. Michael Singer in The Untethered Soul speaks very directly to this. He talks about realizing you are caged
Caged by what?
by your own self-imposed limits, by your comfort zone, which is often much smaller than our true potential.
Mm.
He says when your psyche starts to resist, when you feel that inner tension as you try to grow or change, that's when you know the limits of your cage.
So resistance shows us our boundaries.
Yes. And spiritual awakening, fundamentally, is the realization of this confinement, recognizing we're not as free as we think because of these internal walls we've built.
That's a powerful image, caged by our own making. And our sources also highlight something crucial here, confronting and detaching from our emotional pain, which often feels like part of us.
Absolutely crucial. A key insight from the Untethered Soul is that if your sense of self is invested in your emotional pain, then you will unconsciously resist or sabotage every attempt that you make to heal that pain.
Because letting go of the pain feels like letting go of yourself.
Exactly. Part of your identity gets tangled up in the suffering. He calls this the pain body. Basically, trapped life energy, the living past in you that keeps influencing the present.
So how do you break free?
Making that attachment conscious. Shining the light of awareness on how we cling to suffering. That's presented as the only way to break its hold. It's often an unconscious loyalty to our pain.
And Tara Brach's radical acceptance ties into this.
Perfectly. She defines radical acceptance as clearly recognizing what is happening inside us and regarding what we see with an open, kind, and loving heart.
Open, kind, and loving towards everything inside, even the difficult stuff.
Especially the difficult stuff. It's not passive resignation. It's active, compassionate engagement. And this practice, she says, directly dismantles the very foundations of this trance of unworthiness.
The trance of unworthiness, that feeling of not being good enough.
Yes, which keeps us locked in self-judgment, shame, resistance, blocking the path to the beloved, to our true nature.
So it's not about ignoring pain or pretending it's not there. It's about facing it with a completely different attitude, compassionately.
Exactly. It sounds counterintuitive, maybe, but it's profoundly healing. Radical acceptance, inspired by Siddhartha under the Bodhi tree, involves finding a middle way.
The middle way.
Meaning neither clinging to pleasure nor running away from any part of your experience.
Accepting everything.
Observing it all with awareness. Watching sensations, desires, thoughts, feelings without judgment. Letting them be this endless changing parade that, as she says, I'm not making it happen.
Just letting them pass through without grabbing onto them.
Yes. Instead of resisting or identifying, you allow them to subside naturally. Bringing this gentle, non-reactive attention, especially to the body's sensations, frees us from the stories and reactivity that usually trap us.
And compassion starts with ourselves.
Brach deeply emphasizes this. Compassion begins with the capacity to hold your own life with a loving heart. Before we can genuinely offer it outward, we need it inward.
And it's already there.
Our willingness alone can reconnect us to your loving heart, she says. Because compassion isn't something we acquire. It's intrinsic to your nature, waiting to be rediscovered when we practice this non-judgmental awareness.
Wow. It sounds like a fundamental challenge to how we usually operate, letting go of things we cling to for identity, even our pain.
It really is a path of transformation. So what's the first step? The most crucial one in this uncaging, this move towards effacement.
The foundation, the starting point, is simply awareness, followed by acceptance of what is, without judgment.
Awareness and acceptance.
It's not being passive, but actively, gently engaging with your inner world, bringing conscious attention to thoughts, feelings, sensations, observing them like an impartial witness instead of instantly reacting or identifying.
Creating space.
That conscious observation creates space. And that process of purgation from St. John of the Cross, the Dark Night, it is this clearing of the inner space, not by force, but by that radical surrender of what we cling to, burning away the noise that obscures our connection to the beloved.
Stripping away the non-essential.
Okay, let's shift slightly. These deep connections, they aren't just states we stumble into, are they? Our sources also talk about actively cultivating them, like mastering a skill. Love as an art, even a force for conscious creation.
Yes, absolutely. Erich Fromm's classic, The Art of Loving, makes this case powerfully. He argues love is truly an art. It requires both mastery of the theory and mastery of the practice.
Theory and practice, like learning an instrument.
Precisely. And he asserts that mastering this art must be a matter of ultimate concern, prioritized above everything else: success, prestige, money, power.
Love as the top priority.
Yes. And he makes a really important distinction between falling in love.
Which feels passive.
Right, and often rooted in loneliness or projection, he suggests, and tends to fade, versus the enduring state of standing in love.
Standing in love.
Which signifies a deeper conscious commitment, a disciplined, active engagement with the beloved, whether that's human or divine. It elevates love from just a feeling to a disciplined way of life, an active verb.
That really reframes love from passive emotion to an active, conscious art. And maybe even a generative force for reality. How do we apply this art of loving to ourselves, the world, especially when things get tough?
Well, it comes back to shifting our fundamental intentions, moving from fear to love as the driver. Conversations with God has that profound principle. Life is forgiving, not forgetting.
Giving, not getting.
And it explains, what you give to another, you give to yourself. And it returns not just equally, but sevenfold.
Oh.
This radically redefines success. And what the text calls a new culture. True success isn't how much you get, but how much you cause others to amass, which then effortlessly leads to your own abundance.
The different kind of success.
And doing things purely for personal growth becomes the real profit, a fulfilling spiritual wealth. So even challenges become opportunities to give, learn, grow from love.
And the seed of the soul, how does that fit in? Karma and choice?
Yes, it introduces the idea that choice is central to evolution. Choosing intentions that come from love instead of intentions that come from fear creates joyful karma, not painful karma.
Intentions shape our experience.
Fundamentally, it's about consciously aligning with your soul's purpose to create a reality reflecting it, creating heaven on earth through loving choices.
Soul knowledge.
Right? The book says psychology means soul knowledge. Understanding your soul's nature, its karmic experiences, those patterns of energy and learning. This understanding lets us choose not to react to them personally.
Seeing patterns without getting caught.
Exactly. Observing challenges without getting ensnared. It shifts difficulties from random events to karmic necessities or perfect opportunities for healing and growth. If we meet them with love, not fear, that's where theory becomes lived wisdom.
So this journey isn't about denying human life, but transforming our relationship to it. Seeing it all as a canvas for love and growth. What's the ultimate outcome then? The reward for cultivating this Sufi's passion, walking this path. Is there a balanced way to get to that peace?
The combination of all these diverse paths points to the same place, a state of deep, unshakable peace and joy, a profound sense of oneness with the divine, where the individual self isn't gone, but integrated into a larger, loving reality. It is truly the ultimate homecoming.
Homecoming.
And the sources definitely emphasize a balanced approach, avoiding extremes. The Buddha, as we noted from several sources, advocated that middle way.
Right, avoiding extreme asceticism and indulgence.
Exactly. Avoiding excessive mortification and mere desire and pleasure. This balanced path leads to inner wisdom, which makes one thing as indifferent to us as another, and thus leads to rest, to peace, and to nirvana.
Indifferent, not apathetic, but free from attachment.
Precisely. Transcending attachment to both pleasure and pain, allowing for profound equanimity.
In William James, the psychologist, what did he add?
He noted that feeling is the deeper source of religion, with the philosophic and theological formulas being secondary. It underscores that this is primarily experiential.
Felt, not just thought.
Yes. Something to be lived, embodied, not just debated. And the Philokalia, that collection of Eastern Orthodox mystical texts, describes a profound culmination too.
What's that?
Through purifying the soul, controlling desire, God comes to dwell in our hearts, and through grace, natural discrimination is suspended.
Natural discrimination, like seeing things as separate.
Yes, that ordinary, separative way of seeing vanishes. And the person found worthy to participate in the divine is made God and brought into a state of rest.
Made God.
Not in an egoic sense, but participating so fully in the divine nature, integrating so completely with the beloved, that you're brought into the state of profound, unshakable peace and unified consciousness, mirroring the divine.
So it's not about denying being human or running from the world. It's finding a balance, that middle way, allowing this deep internal shift, this connection to the beloved,
Exactly.
and the ultimate reward, Rest, peace, unshakable joy, even participating in the divine, like Rumi's beloved, who is both external and within, beyond all boundaries, a liberation into what's truly real.
That's it, precisely. It's an invitation to experience life from a fundamentally transformed state of consciousness.
Hmm.
Peace, joy, oneness.
Yeah.
The ultimate homecoming these traditions all point towards. Homecoming into the heart of the beloved.
What an incredible journey we've taken today, really exploring the heart of spiritual passion, from the Sufi concept of fana, that radical effacement to become one with the beloved, to the Christian mystics' inner castles, the Buddha's serene path, Siddhartha's emerging river, the absorption in panna through bhakti, and those deep philosophical insights into oneness and conscious creation.
It's quite a tapestry.
It really is.
Yeah.
We've seen how this longing for divine love, for ecstatic surrender, is just this universal thread woven through all of human experience, our shared spiritual heritage, really.
We really have seen that.
Yeah,
While the paths, the words, the expressions vary so much, the core message feels remarkably consistent.
which is.
A call to transcend that limited egoic self, to surrender to a greater unified reality, and to find ultimate peace and union through the transformative power of love.
It's challenging, often paradoxical, as we've seen.
Definitely, but ultimately profoundly rewarding. It invites us to look inward, to let go, and to embrace a deeper truth about ourselves and, well, everything.
And you, the listener, hopefully you've gained a deeper understanding of these timeless wisdoms. These aren't just abstract ideas for discussion. They offer a powerful, practical framework.
A framework for understanding your own inner life, your relationships, your place in the universe.
Inviting you to reflect on your own journey towards connection, towards surrender. So, here's a final thought to leave you with. If the true art of loving involves not just receiving, but actively giving, and ultimately effacing the self so completely that you truly become one with the beloved, co-creating with the divine, then what self is actually left to experience that bliss? And how might your whole understanding of love change if you saw it not just as a feeling, but as the very fabric of existence itself? A fundamental reality just waiting to be realized within you and all around you, constantly calling you into greater union. We invite you to ponder that and to continue your own deep dive into these profound, intoxicating questions.